Hi, fifth grade. So today we're going to be doing lesson 6 from module 1. And for this lesson, we're going to be comparing decimals. So you are going to need a place value chart for some of this lesson. So please make sure you get that out or get a copy from me if you need it. So what we're first going to do is we're going to be comparing the numbers 13,196 and 13,296. Now, when we are comparing numbers, especially in your problem set, what you're going to see is these two numbers with maybe a circle in the middle. And that circle in the middle, we are going to have to determine if the number is less than, greater than, or equal to. Remember, way back when, the alligator likes to eat the bigger number. So if I were to have 13,196 is less than 13,296, that means the alligator would be eating this number, and so on. And if I choose equal to, that means that these numbers are the same. So for this example, we know for sure that these numbers are not the same. But let's take a look if they are less than or greater than. So a good way to check this out is I can write my numbers into a place value chart like this and then compare all their decimal places. So I will start like this. And now I have 13,196 and 13,296 in my place value charts. Right here, we are going to start by comparing our largest place value. We usually want to start with our largest place value, and I see that they both have 1/10,000. So this is equal to, there's nothing less than or greater than, so I move on to the next place value. There are 3,000s in both of these numbers. So again, nothing is less than or greater than or just equal to, so I move on to the next place value. This is where things are going to get different. My first number has 100s, and my second number has 200s. I know that 2 is the larger number here, so that means that 2 is greater than the 100s. So I need to come back up to this problem up here and complete it by entering one of these symbols. So 13,196, is it less than 13,296, or is it greater than 13,296? I know that 1 is less than 2, so I'm going to choose the less than symbol. And this completes my sentence, so that says 13,196 is less than 13,296. And that's all we need to do to solve this problem. Make sure you have these notes in your notebook. And then we're going to move on to a problem that's a little bit trickier. So for this next problem, let me go ahead and erase this. We are going to be comparing some new numbers now. And our new number is going to be 12 thousandths versus 2 thousandths. Now we're going to be comparing these two numbers here and trying to see, is 12 thousandths less than, greater than, or equal to 2 thousandths. So let's get started again by writing our numbers in our place value charts. This says 0.012, so I'm going to write it in my charts. So that I have 0.012. I know my 2 should be in the thousands place, so my 1 is in the hundredths. There's a 0 here, a decimal here, and a 0 in my 1, so this number is in the correct spots. And then this number right here is 2 thousandths, so I'll have a 2 in my thousands place, a 0 here, a 0 here, decimal, and then 0. Again, I'm going to start with my largest place values and move all the way down to my smallest until I can find a difference. So my 1s are equal, my tenths are equal because they're also both zeros. My hundredths is where it changes though. When I look at my hundredths, I see that I have 1/100th in my first number and 0/100ths in my next number. So if I were to think about my symbols again, I have less than, greater than, or equal to. I'll think about, is 1/100ths less than, greater than, or equal to 0/100ths. I know that 1/100ths is greater than 0/100ths, so I will put the greater than symbol here. And then this completes my sentence up here, so I have 12 thousandths is greater than 2 thousandths. And that completes this number sentence. Now I'm going to give you another problem, and I want you to try this one on your own. So for this problem, again, I'm going to erase what I have here. Make sure you have that down in your notes. And for this next problem, we're going to have 299 thousandths compared to 3/10. So I want you to try this one on your own. You're going to be figuring out if this is less than, greater than, or equal to. And remember, your first step should be putting them into your place value charts and then comparing them from there. So go ahead and pause the video and try to solve this problem. All right, so you should have this problem solved, and you're just checking your work with me now. So for this problem, we're going to have 0.299, or 299 thousandths. And then we'll put in my next number, which is 3/10, so 0.3. And again, I'm going to start with my largest place value and make my way down to the smallest until I find a difference. So I have 0 ones in both of my numbers, so that means that this place value is equal to, so I'll move on to the next place value. And with this place value, I have 2/10 and 3/10. So that means that there's a difference and I need to start comparing these. So if I have 2/10 here and 3/10 here, I'm going to think about, is 2/10 less than, greater than, or equal to 3/10? I know that 2 is less than 3, so I'm going to choose the less than symbol so that I complete the sentence. So it says 299 thousandths is less than 3. Now, you may have accidentally chosen greater than, and it might have been because you saw that, well, this number right here has 3 digits in it, and this one only has 1 digit. The amount of digits doesn't matter. What matters is what's in each place value. Even if I had 299 thousandths, I still only have this 3/10 here, and that 3/10 is greater. So we always start with the greatest place value and make our way through each one until we find a difference. And since the difference here shows that 3/10 is greater than, then I will, the amount of digits here doesn't matter. So we're going to move on to our last type of problem. And for this last type of problem, we are going to be comparing our numbers and then ordering them from least to greatest. So I'm going to write down our numbers here. We have 413 thousandths. We have 56 thousandths. We have 164 thousandths and 531 thousandths. So all 4 of these numbers, when I compare them from least to greatest, when I say least to greatest, I kind of think of like a little mountain, and this helps me out. I think about, if I'm starting at least, that means I'm starting at the bottom, and if I want to go to greatest, it's kind of like I want to go up to the top. So I want to find the smallest number and make my way up to the biggest number. I'm first going to start by just writing all of these numbers in my place value charts, and then I can order them around. So I have 413 thousandths, 56 thousandths, 164 thousandths, and 531 thousandths. And now I'm going to start ordering these. So my ones are all the same, they're all equal to each other, so I'm going to move on to the tenths. And out of these tenths, I want to find, because they're all different, I want to find the tenths that has the least amount, because remember, I'm trying to find, order my numbers from least to greatest. So out of all the numbers that are in my tenths, I want to find the one that is the smallest. 0 is the smallest number I have in my tenths. So down here, I'm going to give myself a space, but down here, I'm going to write this number and start finding the answer. So 56 thousandths is my smallest or my least number out of this set. And I'm going to cross that off so I don't worry about that anymore. Now I'm going to keep looking at my tenths because I still have numbers that are different from each other. So now I have 1/10 as my next smallest number because 4 and 5 are bigger than 1. So I'm going to write that number next. So I have 164 thousandths next. And then after that, I'm going to compare the 4 and the 5. Now with the 4 and the 5, I'm going to think about which number is the smallest out of this one. So I have the number 4 right here, and that is smaller than 5. So I'll write that one next. And then I'll cross that off as well, and then I'm just left with this 531 thousandths. Remember, just because like this number has a 5 and a 6 here, that doesn't matter. What matters is that my tenths place, this is where my first difference is, that I can first compare that tenths place, and I don't worry about what's happening over here. I just want to compare the tenths first, and then I move on with the rest of the numbers. So that is your final answer for this problem, and we are now done with lesson 6. I will have the directions up for the lesson 6 problem set on the boards.